Stay with me for the next minutes, and I promise you'll discover why so many people have found a profound healing, not by fighting their age, but by embracing it with a gentle strength that only Buddhist wisdom can provide.
My dear friend, yes, you. I'm speaking to you, sitting there perhaps in your favorite chair, maybe feeling the weight of years in your joints, maybe carrying worries that seem heavier than they used to be. Have you ever wondered why the body that once carried you through decades of life now feels like a stranger? Why the mind that once solved problems with ease now sometimes feels clouded with concerns about health, loneliness, or what tomorrow might bring? What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you possess everything you need to heal not just your body, but your entire relationship with aging itself? Not through medicine, not through doctors, though they have their place, but through an ancient wisdom that has been quietly healing hearts and bodies for over 2,500 years. I am a humble student of the Buddha's teachings, and today I want to share with you something extraordinary. You see, there's a beautiful secret hidden in Buddhist wisdom, one that doesn't require you to change your religion, your beliefs, or even leave your chair. It's simply this: the body and mind are not separate rivers flowing in different directions. They are one flowing stream, and when we learn to understand this stream, remarkable healing begins to happen. Do you feel that slight shift already? That gentle curiosity stirring within you? That's your wisdom nature awakening. It's been waiting for you all along. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes, and I promise you'll discover why so many people, even in their 80s and 90s, have found profound healing, not by fighting their age, but by embracing it with the gentle strength that only Buddhist wisdom can provide. Let me begin with a story that might sound familiar. There once was a master gardener who had tended the same garden for 60 years. Each spring, he had planted with hope. Each summer, he had watered with dedication. Each autumn, he had harvested with gratitude. But now, in what he thought might be the winter of his gardening days, he looked at his plot and saw only weeds, withered plants, and soil that seemed tired and spent. "My garden is dying," he said to a young monk who was passing by. "My back aches when I bend. My hands shake when I plant. Perhaps it's time to abandon this old patch of earth." The monk smiled gently and knelt down, running his fingers through the soil. "Tell me," he said, "what do you see when you look at this earth?" "I see failure," the gardener replied. "I see weakness. I see the end." "Ah," said the monk, "but I see something different. I see soil that has been enriched by 60 years of love. I see earth that knows the secret of every season. This isn't dying ground. This is the wisest soil in the entire village." My friend, do you see yourself as that gardener sometimes? Looking at your body, perhaps at joints that creak a little more, skin that tells the story of years lived, energy that flows differently than it once did, and seeing only decline? What if, just for a moment, we looked with the eyes of that young monk instead? You see, in Buddhist understanding, the body is not a machine that simply wears out. The body is a sacred temple that has accumulated not just years, but wisdom. Every line on your face is a sutra, a sacred text written by experience. Every ache carries within it the memory of all the love you've given, all the work you've done, all the miles you've walked in service to others. But here's what the Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago, sitting under that Bodhi tree. Suffering isn't caused by the body's changes, it's caused by our relationship with those changes. The pain you might feel in your joints? That's simply sensation. But the suffering that wraps around that pain, the worry, the fear, the sense of loss, that's something altogether different. And that, my friend, can be healed. I remember another story, this one about an old woman who came to see the Buddha. She was bent with age, her hair white as clouds, her hands gnarled like the roots of an ancient tree. The other disciples wondered why the Buddha spent so much time listening to her complaints about her aching body. Later, when they asked him, the Buddha said something beautiful. "When I look at her, I don't see an old woman complaining. I see a master sculptor who has been chiseling away everything unnecessary for 80 years. What you call aging, I call the art of becoming essential. What if your body isn't betraying you? What if it's actually trying to teach you something profound about what truly matters? When we can't move as quickly, we learn to be present. When we can't do everything we once did, we discover what's really important. When we must rest more, we finally give ourselves permission to simply be. This is the first great healing. Understanding that your body, exactly as it is right now, is not your enemy. It's your oldest friend, your most loyal companion, and your wisest teacher. But how do we make this shift from seeing decline to seeing wisdom? How do we heal the mind's tendency to resist and worry? Let me share with you the first Buddhist practice that can begin this healing, right where you sit. In the mountains of Tibet, there lived a healer who was known throughout the region not for his medicines, but for his presence. People would travel for days just to sit with him, and somehow, in his presence, pain would ease, anxiety would lift, and hearts would find peace. One day, a Western doctor visited him, curious about his methods. "What is your secret?" the doctor asked. "What medicines do you use?" The old healer smiled and took a slow, deep breath. "I use the most powerful medicine in the world," he said. "The medicine that's available to every person, in every moment, completely free." "What medicine is that?" the doctor asked, leaning forward eagerly. "Compassionate breathing," the healer replied. "When someone comes to me in pain, I don't try to fix them. I breathe with them. I breathe compassion into their pain, and something magical happens. They remember how to breathe compassion for themselves." My friend, are you breathing right now? Of course you are, but how are you breathing? Are you breathing with resistance, holding your breath against the worries of the day? Are you breathing shallowly, as if afraid to fully inhabit this moment, this body? What if I told you that the way you breathe can actually change the chemistry of pain in your body? What if your breath could become a gentle medicine, flowing to exactly the places that need healing most? Let's try something together, right? Now, don't worry about doing it perfectly. There is no perfect. There is only this moment, and your willingness to be kind to yourself. First, simply notice your breath. Without changing anything, just notice. Is it shallow or deep? Quick or slow? There's no judgment here, just gentle awareness. Now, imagine that your breath is like water flowing to a garden that's been waiting for rain. As you breathe in, imagine you're drawing in not just air, but compassion, kindness, healing energy from the universe itself. And as you breathe out, imagine you're sending that compassion to every part of your body that needs it, to your heart if it carries worry, to your joints if they ache, to your mind if it feels scattered. Breathe in healing. Breathe out love. Breathe in peace. Breathe out gratitude for this body that has carried you so faithfully through all these years. Can you feel something shifting, even slightly? That's not your imagination. That's the beginning of real healing. You see, when we breathe with compassion instead of resistance, we activate what scientists now call the relaxation response. Blood pressure lowers. Inflammation reduces. Pain signals actually change their pathway to the brain. But Buddha knew this 2,500 years ago. He taught that the breath is the bridge between body and mind, and when we make that bridge one of kindness rather than anxiety, everything begins to change. I want to tell you about Mrs. Chun, not her real name, but a real person who taught me something profound about this breathing practice. At 78, she came to our meditation group, bent over with arthritis, barely able to walk. Her doctor had told her there was nothing more to be done, just manage the pain with medication. But Mrs. Chun discovered something beautiful. Every morning, She began breathing compassion to her joints, not trying to make the arthritis go away, but simply sending love to the parts of her body that were struggling. After 3 months, she came to me with tears in her eyes. "The arthritis is still there," she said, "but the suffering around it has almost disappeared. I'm not fighting my body anymore. We're working together." That's the second great healing, learning that we don't have to carry our pain alone. Every breath can be a companion, a gentle friend walking with us through whatever challenges we face. But you might be wondering, what about the mind? What about the worries that keep you awake at night? The anxiety about health, about family, about a future that feels uncertain? Let me share with you an ancient Buddhist story that holds the key to healing these mental struggles. In a village at the foot of a great mountain, there lived a grandmother whose grandchildren loved to visit her. But as the years passed, something troubling began to happen. Her mind, once clear and sharp, began to fill with worries that seemed to multiply like rabbits in spring. She worried about her health. She worried about her children's finances. She worried about world events she couldn't control. She worried about worrying so much. Her mind had become like a house full of chattering monkeys, each one demanding attention, each one convinced that its particular worry was the most important thing in the world. One day, feeling overwhelmed, she decided to climb the mountain to visit an old monk who lived in a small temple near the peak. The climb was difficult. Her knees protested. Her breathing became labored, but somehow, with each step, she felt a little lighter. When she reached the temple, she found the monk sitting peacefully in his garden, watching clouds drift across the sky. "Teacher," she said, "my mind has become my enemy. It won't stop worrying. It won't give me peace. How do I make it stop?" The monk continued watching the clouds for a long moment, then turned to her with gentle eyes. "Grandmother," he said, "do you try to stop those clouds from moving across the sky?" "Of course not," she replied. "That would be impossible." "And yet," he said, "you're trying to stop the clouds of worry from moving across the sky of your mind. What if, instead of fighting these thoughts, you simply watch them pass by, just as you watch those clouds?" My dear friend, does this sound familiar? Have you noticed how, as we age, the mind sometimes seems to become more anxious rather than more peaceful? You might think, "I've lived all these years, learned so much. Why do I worry more now, not less?" There's actually a beautiful reason for this, one that might surprise you. As we age, our hearts become more tender. We've loved more deeply, lost more, and so we feel more. This isn't a weakness. It's a sign of a life fully lived. But sometimes, that tender heart needs to learn new ways of holding all that feeling. In Buddhist psychology, we call the restless, worried mind, monkey mind, constantly swinging from branch to branch, from worry to worry, never finding rest. But here's what the Buddha discovered. We don't heal monkey mind by fighting it. We heal it by becoming the sky in which the monkeys play. Let me show you what I mean with a simple practice you can use anytime your mind becomes too busy, too worried. Right now, notice what thoughts are in your mind. Don't try to change them or push them away. Simply notice them. Are there worries there? Plans? Memories? Just observe. Now imagine that your awareness is like a vast, peaceful sky, and these thoughts are like clouds drifting through that sky. Some clouds are light and wispy, perhaps gentle thoughts about what you'll have for dinner. Some clouds are dark and stormy, perhaps worries about your health or your family. But notice, no matter what kind of clouds pass through, they never damage the sky. The sky remains vast, peaceful, unchanging. It simply allows whatever comes to pass through. You are that sky, my friend, not the clouds of worry or fear or sadness that sometimes pass through your mind, but the vast, peaceful awareness in which all these experiences arise and pass away. This is the third great healing, understanding that you are not your worries, you are not your fears. You are the peaceful awareness that can hold all of these experiences with compassion and wisdom. I think of an elderly man I knew, let's call him Robert, who came to me consumed with anxiety about his diagnosis of diabetes. His mind had become completely focused on blood sugar numbers, diet restrictions, possible complications. He couldn't sleep, couldn't enjoy time with his grandchildren, couldn't find peace anywhere. I taught him this sky practice, and something beautiful happened. The diabetes didn't go away. He still needed to manage it carefully, but his relationship with having diabetes completely transformed. Instead of being a person controlled by fear of illness, he became a person who happened to have diabetes, just another cloud passing through the sky of his awareness. I'm still vigilant about my health, he told me months later, but I'm not imprisoned by fear anymore. I can be present for the good moments again. But you might be thinking, this sounds lovely in theory, but what about when the pain is really intense? What about when the worry feels overwhelming? What about those nights when sleep won't come and the mind races with scenarios we can't control? For these deeper challenges, Buddhism offers us something even more powerful. There's a reason why, of all the flowers in the world, the Buddha chose the lotus as the symbol of enlightenment. The lotus is the only flower that grows from the mud at the bottom of the pond, pushes through murky water, and blooms in pristine beauty on the surface. What's remarkable is this: the lotus doesn't bloom despite the mud. It blooms because of the mud. Without that rich, dark earth at the bottom of the pond, there would be no lotus at all. In a monastery in ancient India, there was a nun who had spent 40 years in devoted practice. She was known for her wisdom, her compassion, her ability to help others find peace. But then, at the age of 75, her body began to betray her in ways she had never imagined. Chronic pain settled into her joints like an unwelcome visitor who wouldn't leave. Sleep became elusive. Simple tasks that she had done without thinking now required tremendous effort. For the first time in decades, she found herself angry. Angry at her body, angry at aging, angry at the unfairness of it all. She went to her teacher, feeling ashamed of her anger. "I have practiced for 40 years, she said, and yet this pain, this limitation has made me bitter. I feel like I've learned nothing." Her teacher looked at her with infinite compassion and said, "My dear student, you have spent 40 years preparing for this moment. All your practice, all your wisdom, all your compassion, it was preparation for learning the deepest teaching of all, how to find freedom even in the midst of limitation, how to discover that suffering can crack our hearts open to a love we never knew was possible." My friend, what if the struggles you're facing now, the physical challenges, the health concerns, the losses that come with aging, what if these aren't obstacles to your spiritual growth, but the very path itself? This might be difficult to hear at first. Our culture teaches us to fight aging, to resist limitations, to see decline as failure. But Buddhism offers us a radically different perspective. What if your struggles are not punishments, but invitations? Invitations to discover strengths you didn't know you had, wisdom you couldn't access before, compassion depths you never imagined possible? I've seen this transformation hundreds of times. People who thought their useful lives were over-discovering that their greatest gifts were just beginning to emerge. Not despite their challenges, but through them. Let me share with you a practice that can help you begin to see your struggles as the mud from which your own lotus can bloom. It's called befriending your difficulty, and it's one of the most powerful healing practices I know. Think for a moment about a challenge you're currently facing. Perhaps it's pain in your body. Perhaps it's worry about the future. Perhaps it's loneliness or grief. Choose something that's been weighing on your heart. Now, instead of trying to push this difficulty away, imagine you could sit down with it like an old friend. What would you say to this challenge if it were a person sitting across from you? You might say, I see you there, worry about my health. You're trying to protect me, aren't you? You're afraid something bad might happen to me, and you're trying to keep me safe by staying vigilant. Or, hello, pain in my joints. You've been with me for months now. I've been fighting you, but you're still here. What are you trying to teach me? Are you asking me to slow down? To be more gentle with myself? To appreciate the times when I feel better? This isn't about being grateful for suffering. That would be false and cruel. This is about recognizing that even our difficulties have intelligence, have purpose, have something to offer us if we're willing to listen with an open heart. When we stop fighting our challenges and start conversing with them, something miraculous happens. The energy we were using to resist becomes available for healing. The wisdom locked inside our struggles becomes accessible. The compassion we thought we'd lost reveals itself to be deeper than ever. I remember Sarah, a woman in her late 60s who had been devastated by her husband's death 2 years earlier. She came to me broken, convinced that joy was behind her forever. Through this practice of befriending her grief, she made a stunning discovery. My grief isn't the opposite of love, she told me through tears. It is love. It's all the love I have for my husband with nowhere to go. When I stopped trying to get rid of it and started honoring it as love, everything changed. I'm still sad, but I'm not bitter anymore. And somehow, that love is starting to flow toward other people. My grandchildren, my neighbors, even strangers I meet. This is the fourth great healing, discovering that our struggles, when met with compassion rather than resistance, become the very soil from which our greatest gifts grow. But perhaps you're wondering, this is all beautiful philosophy, but how do I actually live this way? How do I maintain this perspective when I'm having a bad day, when the pain is intense, when the worries feel overwhelming? Let me share with you the most practical part of this ancient wisdom. In the mountains of Nepal, I once met a woman who was 89 years old and walked 2 miles every morning to fetch water for her family. Her back was bent from decades of carrying heavy loads. Her hands were gnarled from a lifetime of hard work, but her eyes sparkled with a joy I rarely see in people half her age. Through a translator, I asked her the secret of her contentment. She laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, and said something that changed my understanding of aging forever. Every morning when I wake up, before I even open my eyes, I say thank you to my body for carrying me through another night. I thank my legs for being willing to walk. I thank my hands for being able to hold. I thank my heart for beating faithfully for 89 years. By the time I get out of bed, I'm not thinking about what's wrong with me. I'm amazed by everything that's still right. My friend, what if healing your relationship with aging could be that simple? Not easy, perhaps, but simple. What if it started each morning with a moment of gratitude instead of an inventory of what's not working? Buddhist wisdom isn't just philosophy to think about. It's a way of living that transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for healing. Let me share with you 5 simple practices that you can weave into your daily life starting today. Asterisk, asterisk, the morning blessing, asterisk, asterisk. Before you even get out of bed, take 3 conscious breaths. With the first breath, say silently, "Thank you, body, for this new day." With the second breath, "Thank you, mind, for the capacity to experience this moment." With the third breath, "Thank you, heart, for the ability to love and be loved." This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about starting the day by remembering what's working rather than what's not. It's about setting an intention of friendship with yourself rather than criticism. Asterisk, asterisk, the compassionate check-in, asterisk, asterisk. 3 times during your day, perhaps at meals, pause and ask yourself, how am I being with myself right now? Am I treating myself like a beloved friend or like an enemy? If you notice you've been harsh or critical, simply place your hand on your heart and say, "May I be kind to myself. May I give myself the compassion I would offer to someone I love." Asterisk, asterisk, the wisdom walk, asterisk, asterisk. Even if you can only walk to the mailbox or around your living room, make at least one walk each day a meditation. As you walk, instead of planning or worrying, simply notice the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breathing, the colors and sounds around you. Let each step be a reminder that you are alive, you are here, you are enough. Asterisk, asterisk, the sunset reflection, asterisk, asterisk. As each day ends, take a moment to acknowledge what challenged me today and how did I meet that challenge? What small moment of beauty did I notice? What act of kindness, however small, did I either give or receive? This practice helps us see that even difficult days contain gifts when we know how to look for them. Asterisk, asterisk, the loving kindness practice, asterisk, asterisk. Before sleep, offer these traditional Buddhist phrases first to yourself, then to loved ones, then to anyone who might be suffering. May I be healthy and strong in whatever way is possible for me. May I be at peace with the changes in my body and mind. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be truly happy. I know what you might be thinking. This sounds lovely, but will it actually help when I'm really struggling? When the pain is bad or the anxiety is overwhelming? Let me tell you about Margaret. At 73, she was dealing with chronic pain from fibromyalgia, anxiety about her memory, and deep loneliness after moving to a new city. When she first heard these practices, she rolled her eyes. Positive thinking, she said dismissively. I've tried that. It doesn't work. But she was desperate enough to give it a try. She started with just the morning blessing, 3 breaths of gratitude before getting up. I felt silly at first, she told me later, but I figured it couldn't hurt. Within 2 weeks, she noticed something small but significant. Instead of waking up and immediately thinking about everything that was wrong, she was waking up with just a tiny bit of curiosity about the day ahead. Instead of her mind immediately going to pain and problems, there was a small space of possibility. 6 months later, her pain levels hadn't dramatically changed, but her relationship with pain had transformed completely. I'm still dealing with fibromyalgia, she said, but I'm not drowning in it anymore. I've learned how to float. This is the 5th great healing, understanding that transformation doesn't require dramatic changes. It happens through small, consistent acts of kindness toward yourself, repeated day after day until they become a new way of being. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is yet to come. In ancient cultures, elders were revered not despite their age, but because of it. They were seen as bridges between the world of doing and the world of being, between the realm of accumulating and the realm of wisdom. They were the storytellers, the wisdom keepers, the ones who had learned life's most important secrets. Somewhere along the way, we lost this understanding. We began to see aging as decline rather than development, as ending rather than ripening. But what if we could reclaim this ancient perspective? What if we could see this stage of your life not as the sunset, but as the harvest? There's a Buddhist teaching that says the purpose of life is not to arrive at death safely, but to arrive at death completely used up. All of our love given, all of our wisdom shared, all of our compassion expressed. What if your current challenges, the slowing down, the limitations, the losses, what if these are actually preparing you for your greatest contribution to the world? When the body can't do as much, the heart often opens wider. When we can't move as quickly through the world, we learn to be more present. When we face our own mortality, we often discover what truly matters, and that wisdom is desperately needed by younger generations who are still lost in the busyness of accumulating and achieving. I think of Tom, a retired engineer who came to our meditation group feeling useless and forgotten. His career was over. His physical strength diminished. His role in the family changed. But through Buddhist practice, he began to see his life differently. I spent 40 years solving technical problems, he told me. But now I'm learning to solve the problems of the heart, how to find peace, how to let go, how to love without clinging. Turns out that's engineering too, just a different kind. He began volunteering at a hospice, sitting with people who were dying, offering them the presence he had learned to cultivate. I can't give them more time, he said, but I can give them less fear. I can show them how to meet uncertainty with grace. My dear friend, what if your struggles with aging aren't obstacles to overcome, but initiations into wisdom? What if every challenge you face is making you more qualified to offer something precious to the world, the gift of someone who has learned to live with an open heart despite uncertainty? Your wrinkles are not signs of failure. They are maps of laughter and concern, evidence of a life fully felt. Your slower pace is not inadequacy. It's an invitation to depth, to presence, to the kind of attention that our hurried world desperately needs. Your physical limitations are not punishments. They are teachers, showing you and others how to find strength that doesn't depend on muscle, how to discover beauty that doesn't fade, how to touch joy that no illness can take away. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to know something important. You are not too old to heal. You are not too set in your ways to change. You are not too late to discover peace, joy, and profound meaning in your life. The Buddha was 80 years old when he died, still teaching, still growing, still discovering new depths of compassion and wisdom. His last words were, "Work out your salvation with diligence." Not, "You're too old to grow," but keep growing, keep discovering, keep becoming who you're meant to be. So as you go forward from this moment, carry with you these truths. Your body, exactly as it is worthy of love and gratitude. Your mind, with all its worries and wisdom, can learn to rest in peace. Your struggles are not evidence of failure, but invitations to depth. Your age is not a limitation, but a qualification for offering the world something beautiful and rare. Take a deep breath now. Feel the air filling your lungs. Feel your heart beating steadily in your chest. Feel the miracle of being alive, conscious, capable of love, right here, right now. This is your moment. This is your life. This is your opportunity to bloom like the lotus, not despite the mud of your struggles, but because of the rich wisdom they have given you. The path continues, my friend, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. You are exactly where you need to be, and you have everything you need to heal, to grow, and to offer your unique gift to this world. May you be healthy and strong in whatever way is possible for you. May you be at peace with the changes in your body and mind. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be truly happy. And may you rest tonight knowing that you are loved, you are enough, and your journey is far from over. Thank you for walking this path with me today. Until we meet again.